Greetings to my Preparing a Thesis Proposal class at Regent University here in the summer of 2017. This is your instructor, Larry Asplund. I wanted to just do a quick video tour of the writing group and some of the things that I think will be relevant to you moving forward. In the coming weeks, you're going to be doing some final writing for me in our class. Not that I'm looking for you to write your final master's thesis. That's yet to come in the next class. But I'm getting you ready for that, and so there will be several very important written assignments and really the process of working together and making sure you're ready for all of that. So I wanted to jump into our website for DGEN697. Let me first of all kind of access the course content when we come down to week 9, and of course I'm posting a written announcement as well. Week 9 is about writing the thesis prospectus, the final thesis statement, and the abstract. So there's a lot of details in week 9 about the thesis statement, which of course you've been working on all along. The abstract is maybe a new idea for you, but you'll discover as a part of the prospectus as well as the final thesis. Indeed, any formal academic writing that you do, including journal articles or whatever it may be, having some kind of a paragraph that summarizes your project is always called for. That's the abstract. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave you resources that you will need. In fact, the Master's Thesis Handbook does a great job giving you appendices that give you more specific instructions about the abstract as well as a sample. And then I've also given you some relevant pages, once again, in Turabian, in Cresswell, as well as some links to some resources for you. But one of the unique things that we're now working on is the writing group. Now, before we go to the writing group, I want to show you some important resources that are relevant to you for this process. Of course, you've already seen in course resources the various elements that are relevant to you, including sample master's theses. Of course, this announcement is in the instructor video announcement. One of the questions I wanted to answer for some of you is that when you look at the sample masters, and again, these are not model theses, these are just samples from our school. When you look at them in the master's thesis itself, the introduction chapter, chapter 1, includes the literature review. In fact, it's probably the major portion of that introduction. Also, I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to load some sample prospecti from the spring class. Once again, these scholars, you know, that were in this class in the spring did some great work. They worked hard like you're working. And these are not necessarily, I'm not saying that they're model prospectus for the thesis project. They're just some of the work that was done recently, and you'll be able to see maybe what that looks like. But I will be guiding you more specifically when it comes to what I'm looking for in this class, just to make sure that you get everything right and are ready for your next class. Also, under the syllabus link, I have posted a variety of rubrics that are very, very important to you. May I suggest, because I know you still must have questions in your minds about, okay, specifically what are you going to be looking for when it comes to these written products. The Master's Thesis Prospectus Performance Rubric is the most complete description of the details that I will be looking for at every point in all of the written products that you are beginning to work on. It's going to be your best friend going forward. So if I were you, I would keep that in front of me. Then I have specific grading rubrics. Now, these rubrics are literally the ones that I'm going to be used to post your grade with comments, etc. when we get to those weeks. So the first one will be the thesis statement and lit review grading rubric, and that will show you exactly how I will grade what you provide for me. Then there will be the master's prospectus itself and that grading rubric, and then there will be the thesis chapter 1, which is the introduction to the thesis grading rubric. So that's going to be the very last thing you will do. And you'll discover that they all build on one another, frankly. So, for instance, chapter 1 of the thesis is just kind of a reworking of what you've done for the prospectus, which is why it's not worth as much of your final grade, but still very, very important, because that's the document that you're going to hand on to your advisor when you dig into DGEN699. But starting this week, I want you to pay special attention to the peer review rubric. Be sure to click it and download it, because this is the document that you are going to be using. Oh, and it's coming up to my announcement first. Here he is. This is the document that you're going to be using to provide feedback. So be sure to, put your name down as the author, rather the author of whoever submitted that written work. Your name is the reviewer, etc. Take a look at the philosophy behind a peer review rubric of this kind, and then you're going to look at the various elements that are required for any of these written assignments, and you're going to mark. Now, please remember, you're not grading. You're just going to mark a strong, satisfactory, or could use improvement. Now, I suppose everything we do could use improvement. But in terms of the elements that we're all looking for, and that I'm looking for, that your advisor will be looking for, in that context, it's kind of important to be able to think more about, okay, really, I don't think that this is going to fly easily, or I think it's going to be pretty good. There may be a suggestion or two, or could use improvement. You may be asked to rewrite. So, but then what's most important is your peer comment. So you're using this to provide, from your perspective, some feedback to your classmate who posted that written assignment. And there are the other elements that are down all the way to the bottom. This rubric then is what you are going to use. You will fill it out. You will save it under a name that can be recognized as your work, your rubric, and then you will post it. Now let me show you here in a moment how to do that, what I'm going to be looking for. You can access your writing group, if you have not already done so, in two different places. One is under course content. So for instance, if we go to course content, we go down to this coming week, week 9, you can go down to the various elements of week 9, and of course the bottom one is the writing group. So you can click writing group number 2, and it will take you straight to the writing group. Now there we are, the members of the writing group. You're most interested in the group discussion board. You can do a variety of things as a writing group, but the group discussion board is where you're interested. Now, before I jump into that, let me show you that also here in the navigation column, you can also click groups, and it's going to do the same thing. So it'll take you to the writing group. You will then go down to the group discussion board, and that will take you then to the writing group. Remember, this week, group number 1, which is what you're kind of concluding now, is just functioning like a discussion forum. And so you're having a bit of a conversation about what you feel the gap is in the literature you want to explore. The research question that you don't think was either adequately addressed or addressed at all, and so you're going to make it the focus of your thesis. And so it's really a discussion group in number 1. But coming up this week, number 2, you're going to post a copy. You're going to attach a file that has the final version. I have final under quotation marks, because the thesis statement is one of those moving targets, but you're moving toward it, So you're going to post a document that has the final version of your thesis statement to the group, and then you will, when you see several being posted, and don't jump in too early. You'll be frustrated because, okay, is everybody dead? What happened? I don't see any. When you see several postings of thesis statements, then you're going to pick one of them, and you're going to respond. So I just put, just an item down as a test so I could show you. So here I am. How to access the writing group. So say you wanted to give me feedback. So you're going to pick on me, in a positive, constructive way, to provide me some excellent feedback on what I have posted So you will attach my, my thread that I've started. And you will go down and notice, and I attached another document, frankly, but you will notice then I will have had a little bit of discussion about, okay, this is how I reached the conclusion that this is my thesis statement. Then you will see a document that I posted that contains my written, thesis statement. It's just one sentence, basically, but it's the bullseye on your target. And so you will access that. You will then also access a copy of the rubric that I just showed you. And ultimately, when you reply, you maybe have some, encouraging word from me or whatever it might be. But then in part of your reply, you will go down, browse your computer, and you will find where you saved the rubric, the peer review rubric that you filled out for me, saved with your name, etc., so you can easily find it. You'll find it and you'll attach it and you'll submit it, and that will be your feedback tool, your feedback instrument for the writing group. Just pick one other student, and I think it's okay if you want to observe that happening for other classmates, and maybe even jump in with a comment. That would be fine. But for the writing group, I'm not grading, for instance, in week 9, I'm not grading your thesis statement. I'm grading your rubric. Now, I have a chance to grade your thesis statement in week 12. But in week 9, I'm going to be grading the rubric because, we take this peer review process seriously. It's very, very helpful, and I think you will find that just being able to think together about each other's thesis statement will help to refine your own. And then, of course, you will submit it, and it will pop up in the grade board center for me to grade. So that's really all it's going to be, but I think it will be a very valuable process for you. If you have any questions about that, if this wasn't clear enough or really helpful, I hope I hope you'll let me know, and we'll work on it together some more. But I'm looking forward to this peer review process. I think it's just a dynamic, powerful element of DGEN697. And so let's get to work. Let's work together. Let's help each other. Let's learn from each other. Let's encourage and support each other in this process. Because ultimately, my goal is that when we come to the end of DGEN697, you will be confident, and I will be confident, that you're ready to move forward and write your master's thesis. So God bless you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you, and I'm in your prayers. Have a great week.